Good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your second period and the subject is economics. Students, today through this recorded video class, I am going to continue the same chapter, that is chapter 10 from unit 3 from book 2. Here the chapter title is Comparative Development Experience or Experiences of India and its Neighbors. The chapter title is Comparative Development Experiences of India and its Neighbors. So this chapter is chapter 10 from book 2 and I am going to continue the same chapter in this video. Students, in the previous period, we have studied the development or I can say developmental path adopted in China and also adopted in Pakistan. We have studied the Great Leap Forward, the Great Proletariat Cultural Revolution in China. Similarly, in Pakistan, that in 1970s, the nationalization of capital good industries took place. Similarly, between 1970s and 1980s, a major thrust was towards denationalization and establishment of private sector industries, and how Pakistan got the financial aid from Western countries and also from Middle East. And we also studied that many people from Pakistan, they went for job, for employment in Middle East. At the same time, we have studied that in 1988, reforms were initiated in Pakistan. So we have studied one more point, that import substitution based industrialization also adopted in Pakistan. So we have studied all these things. So we compared the development in China, Pakistan, and also we have studied earlier in India, that we have studied. Now today, the following topics we are going to cover, that is demographic indicators. First is demographic indicators in all the three countries, we will compare. Second, that gross domestic product and various sectors. How the gross domestic product in all the three countries, how the sectors, all the three sectors in all the three countries. Similarly, we will also read the indicators of human development. Last, development strategies and appraisal. Okay, these four topics are left in this chapter. Let us try to complete. The first is demographic indicators. Students, demographic indicators means the indicators of population. Anything and everything which is connected with population. Demographic, which is related to, this word is very closely related to population. Birth rate, death rate, life expectancy, infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, sex ratio. So sex ratio, maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, birth rate, death rate, life expectancy, all this comes under demographic indicators of a country. So how was the demographic indicators in all these three countries, we will study in this chapter, in this topic. Students, how it is said that out of total population in the world, out of total global population in the world, every 6 persons living in this world, out of every 6 persons living in the world, one is from India and the second is from what? China. I mean out of total population in the world, global population, or I can say out of every 6 persons in the world, out of every 6 persons in the world, one is an Indian and the another is what? Chinese. This shows that in these two countries the population is more. That's why telling China is the second most populous country in the world. Sorry, China is the first most populous country in the world, and the second most populous country in the world is India. I repeat, out of total global population, or out of every 6 persons in the world, one person belongs to India and the second person belongs to China. This shows that both these countries, India and China or China and India, are the most populous countries in the world. China is the most populous country in the world and the second most populous country in the world is India. So that shows these two countries are having more population. Now we will compare the demographic indicators of China, India and Pakistan. How the demographic indicators are. A demographic indicators means how much population is there in all the three countries, what is the sex ratio, what is the fertility rate, urbanization, okay, annual growth of population, density, all these things. Density of population, annual growth rate of population, fertility rate, sex ratio, urbanization, so many things will come which will compare between China, India and Pakistan, how the demographic indicators are. So we shall compare some demographic indicators of India, China and Pakistan. The population of Pakistan, when compared with all the three countries, the population of Pakistan is very less. India, China and Pakistan, when you compare all the three countries, so which country population is very less? Pakistan. Pakistan have 1/10 population of India, or Pakistan have a 1/10 population of China. That means out of total population of India and out of total population of China, Pakistan is having only a 10th part. So 1/10 of China's population or 1/10 of India's population is there in Pakistan. That means Pakistan is very less in population when compared with India and China. Similarly, China is the largest nation. It is the largest nation and geographically occupies highest area. I repeat, though China is the largest nation, China is the largest nation and geographically occupies a largest area among all the three nations. I repeat once again, Dash is the largest nation among the three, that is China. Dash nation is geographically larger in area, that is China. So China is the largest nation among the three countries and also geographically it occupies the largest among the three nations. Area wise, geographical means area wise. Area wise it is largest. Population wise it is largest. Okay. Similarly, though China is more in population when compared with other two countries, but the density of population of China is less. The density of population of China is less when compared with India, because the China area is more. Your density means when the area is less and the population is more. When the area is less and the population is more, then the density will be more. So India area is less, population is more, so density is more in India. Whereas China area is more and population is less, so density is less. But when compared with population, China's population is more than India. That means here China is largest in area, more in population. But when it comes to density, the China's density is less when compared with India, because in India area is more, when compared with what? Population. Next one, if you see the population growth rate, Pakistan is the country where you find the highest growth rate of population. The highest growth rate of population is found or registered in Pakistan when compared with other two nations. So among China, among India and among Pakistan, which country is having highest growth rate of population? That is Pakistan. So Pakistan is the country which is having highest growth rate of population, okay, followed by India. That means second country which is highest growth rate is what? India. So among three countries, China, Pakistan, India, or India, Pakistan, China, Pakistan country is the country where the growth of population is highest, and the second position occupied by India in population growth. Actually, why China name is not came here? Only Pakistan is having highest growth rate and India. Why? Because China country adopted a single child norm in their country in late 1970s. In late 1970s, remember, in late 1970s, China adopted a single child norm. That means the government passed a rule that every couple should have only one child. So single child norm, that principle was adopted in which country? China in late 1970s in order to control the population. Okay. Similarly, though this method, what, single child norm adopted in China, though it helped in controlling the growth of population, but at the same time it led to decline in sex ratio. That means the female per thousand males, the proportion of female per thousand males, which is sex ratio, the proportion of females per every thousand males in China is being reduced, because that single child norm and preference to male child and the single child norm both resulted in the decline in sex ratio, and also I can say it helped in controlling the growth rate of population. So what is sex ratio? The proportion of females per every 1000 males is called sex ratio. A single child norm, that concept was adopted by China in order to control the growth rate of population. This principle badly affected the child sex ratio. Okay. However, from the table, one table is given here. I am showing the table here. Just see. Okay, I'll share that one. I'll share the screen of that table. So in page number 185, one table is shown. So from the table, you will notice that the sex ratio is low. And biased against females in all the three countries. I mean, India, China and Pakistan, in all the three countries, there is a bias between male child and female child. The sex ratio is lowest in all the three countries. I mean, in China, in India and in Pakistan, the sex ratio is lowest. In all the three countries, females, number is less. Scholars said that the reason for biased female in all these three countries is mainly that is preference for son or preference for male child. So preference for male child is the main cause in all the three countries to find out that the female population is very less. I mean, the sex ratio is very less. In recent times, all the three countries are adopting various measures and methods in recent times, I mean 2014, 15, 16, okay, all these three countries are adopting various measures to improve this situation. I mean, now they are trying to give equal importance for girl child also. Earlier, all these three countries, they gave preference to male child, son, hence the sex ratio declined badly. There's a lot of discrimination against women. But in recent years, all these three countries, they're encouraging, they're taking all the measures, various measures to improve what the situation. One child norm which is there in China, adopted in late 1970s, now it is replaced by two children. I mean, the Chinese government passed one new law that every couple can have two children. Every couple can have two children. Why? Because of the single child norm, it had very bad implications. It reduced the sex ratio. Though it helped in controlling or lowering the population of China, but it badly affected the sex ratio. The female population was decreased. So that is why the government of China, it replaced the single child norm with two children. Now the government of China issued one act that every couple can have two children. Now, for instances, okay, after a few decades in China, there will be no elderly people. See the condition. After few decades in China, the situation will be in such a manner that there will not be any elderly people when compared with the young people, young generation. For instance, after few decades in China, there will be more elderly people in proportion to young people. I'm sorry, I said reverse. After few decades in China, you will find more elderly people population than the young people. Okay, this led China to allow couples to have two children. I mean, earlier the single child norm, it resulted in lowering the population growth in China, fine, but it also badly affected the sex ratio. It badly affected the proportion of females per every 1,000 males. At the same time, if the same trend continued, then it was believed that after a few decades, the elderly people population will be more in China when compared with young population. So that is why the Chinese government replaced the single child norm with two children. Now in China, every couple can have two children. Now the fertility rate, I mean the birth rate. The fertility rate is also low in China. Dash country where the fertility rate is very low, that is in China, and it is very high in Pakistan. Dash country, the fertility rate is very high, Pakistan. Dash country where the fertility rate is very low, China. So China is a country where the fertility rate is very low, and Pakistan is the country where the fertility rate is very high. At the same time, urbanization, I mean growth of cities and towns. So urbanization is high in China with China. So among all the three countries, I mean China, India and Pakistan, where the urbanization is more is in China. Second place, that is India, that is 33% of the people living in urban areas. How much percentage of people in India living in urban areas? That is 33%. I repeat, how much percentage of people living in urban areas in India? That is 33%. But if you see, among the three countries, urbanization is more in China. Okay, and the second place occupied India with 33%. I'm sorry, second place is Pakistan, that is 39%, and India occupies the least part, third part, that is 33%. So in urbanization, China is first, second place Pakistan, and third place what? India in urbanization. In fertility rate, China is very low, okay, and very highest in where? Pakistan. Urbanization, here China is highest, second place that is Pakistan, and third place India in urbanization. So here we are lagging. Now coming to another topic, that is gross domestic product and sectors. Gross domestic products and sectors. Okay, so students, one of the much talked issues around the world is that China is having more gross domestic product when compared with other countries. I mean, there's a talk throughout the world. There's a talk throughout the world that China is having more gross domestic product, GDP, gross domestic product. So throughout the world, it is China whose gross domestic product is what? Highest or more. So one of the much talked issues around the world about China is, I mean, every country they talk about China around the world, that is the growth of gross domestic product. Fine. So around the world, all countries, they are talking about the China's gross domestic product. China has the second largest GDP. Okay, China has the second largest GDP in the world. China has the second largest GDP in the world, not among the three countries, in the world, with 19.8 trillion dollars. 19.8 trillion dollars. That is the GDP. Whereas India's GDP is 8.07 trillion dollars. 8.07 trillion dollars is the GDP of India, and Pakistan GDP is, that is 0.94 trillion dollars. So among the three countries also, if you compare which country is having more GDP, that is China. Actually, there's a talk in the world. Every country in the world, they talk about the GDP of China. Okay, and China's GDP is, that is 19.8 trillion dollars. And if you see India's, that is 8.07 trillion dollars. And if you see Pakistan, that is 0.94 trillion dollars. So if you compare, the China stood first in GDP. Okay, or I can say India is having 40% of China's GDP. Out of 100% of China's GDP, India is having only 40%. Similarly, Pakistan is having 12% of India's GDP. I mean, when we compare with China, our India's GDP is 40% to China's GDP. I mean, whatever China's GDP is there, whatever amount of China's GDP is there, out of which India is having only 40%. Similarly, whatever GDP we are having, out of that one, Pakistan is having only 12%. So Pakistan had 12% of India's GDP. India is having 40% of China's GDP. Anyhow, in total GDP, which country stood first? That is China. Now, when many developed countries were finding it difficult to maintain two-digit growth rate of GDP, I mean, I can say, when many developed countries were finding it difficult to maintain a growth rate of 5%, at the time China maintained double-digit growth rate. I mean, when all the developed countries in the world are struggling a lot to maintain at least 5% of GDP, at the time China was able to maintain nearly double-digit growth for 1 decade, nearly 10 years. Continuous 10 years it maintained double-digit growth rate. Okay, that can be seen in the table, that is page number 186, one table is there. Okay, here also notice that in 1980s, listen, in 1980s, Pakistan was ahead to India. See, one date is going, remember this one. In which year? In 1980s. In 1980s, Pakistan was ahead, I mean, better position. In 1980s, Pakistan was ahead of India. Okay, China was having double-digit growth and India was at the bottom. Our country, India, was at the bottom. Pakistan, I mean, China is having double-digit growth rate. Even Pakistan also way ahead to India in 1980s. Next one, in 2015-17, recent years, in 2015-17, there has been a decline in Pakistan and China growth rates. In 2015 and 2017, between these 3 years, what is it here? in 2015 to 2017, there has been a decline in Pakistan and China's growth rates, whereas India met with a moderate increase. Between 2015-17, the growth rate of China and Pakistan was declined, whereas at the same time, India had a moderate growth rates. Some scholars, educated people, some scholars told that the reforms processes introduced in Pakistan, some scholars said that the reform processes introduced in Pakistan and the political instability in Pakistan for a long period is the main reason for the decline of this GDP. I said now, between 2015 to 2017, there's a decline in GDP in both countries, Pakistan and China. Here he is telling why in Pakistan the growth rate of GDP has declined. The reason is that is the reform process which introduced in Pakistan and the political instability which was there in Pakistan for a long period is a main growth rate for the decrease in the GDP. We will study in later section that which sector contributed to different growth rates in these countries. Now, first look how people engaged in different sectors contribute to gross domestic product. It was pointed out that in the previous section that China and Pakistan have more proportion of urban population than India. Now, already previous section we studied in urbanization, which country first? China. Second place Pakistan. Third place India in urbanization, even growth of towns and cities, or where more number of living in what towns and cities. So in Pakistan and China, more people are living in towns and cities when compared with India. So that means in urbanization, China first, second place Pakistan, third place India. So it is clear that more people in all the three countries, particularly in China and Pakistan, more people are living in where? Towns and cities, and less people are living in India in town cities when compared with these two countries. What I want to say, in China and Pakistan, more people are living in towns and cities when compared with India. In India, what? More people are living in where? Villages. In China, due to topographic conditions and climatic conditions, shape and form of the land. So, the topographical conditions, the climatic conditions, the area is suitable for cultivation is relatively small. In China, the topographic conditions, the topography of China, the landforms of China, and the climatic conditions in China will support less agricultural production. That means the topography, the climate which is found in China, that supports very less for cultivation. Cultivation. Only about 10% of its total land area. Listen carefully. Only 10% of its total land area is what? Cultivable area in China. Out of 100% of total area in China, only a 10% of land is suitable for cultivation in China. And accounts 40% of the cultivable area in India. That means the total cultivable area in China accounts for 40% of the cultivable area in India. Whatever cultivable area is there in India, out of that one, only 40% is there in China. That means if you compare the cultivable area in the three countries, India is having more cultivable area than China. Whatever amount of cultivable area is there in India, out of that one, only 40% cultivable area is there in China. Or I can say like this, out of total geographical land in China, only 10% land is suitable for what? Cultivation. And the 10% land which is suitable for cultivation, the people are doing very hard work and they're supporting the huge population. So whatever amount of cultivable land is there in India, out of that total land, cultivable land, only 40% cultivable land is there in China. That means the cultivable land in China is less when compared with India. Similarly, out of total geographical land in China, only 10% of land is what suitable for cultivation. Until the 1980s, more than 80% of people in China were depending on farm and their source and main sole source of living. That means up to 1980s, up to 1980s, up to 1980s, more than 80%, or I can say 80% of population, 80% of population in China, they are depending upon agriculture as their main source of livelihood. Up to 1980s, just imagine, up to 1980s, out of total population of China, more than 80% of population of China are depending upon cultivation, farming for their livelihood. So since then, the government encouraged people to leave their fields. But after 1980s, the government of China, they made some changes. They said to the people to leave their fields and pursue other activities such as handicrafts, commerce, transportation, etc. So the Chinese government started encouraging their population after 1980s to what? To give importance to other sectors also, like handicrafts, okay, now transportation and trade. So hence in 2015-17, with 18% of its workforce engaged in agriculture, see, from 82 it reduced to 18%. In up to 1980s, it is 80% of population depending upon agriculture or farming in China. Now by the year 2015-17, it reduced to 18%. Okay, and 18% engaged in agriculture. Its contribution to GDP in China is 9%. And the contribution of agriculture of China in GDP is what? 9%. Now, in both India and Pakistan, the contribution of agriculture to GDP is what? 17 and 25%. In China, the contribution of agriculture to GDP is 9%, whereas in India, the contribution of agriculture to GDP is 17%, and in Pakistan, the contribution of agriculture to GDP is 25%. Okay. But the proportion of workforce who are engaged in agriculture is more in what? India. See, but the proportion of workforce that works in this sector is more in India. That means more people of India are engaged in agriculture. More people of India are engaged in agriculture when compared with other two countries. In China, in recent years, only 18% people are engaged in agriculture, remaining all shifted to other activities like transportation, trading and handicrafts. China country contributes 9% of GDP from the side of agriculture, or Chinese agriculture contributes 9% of GDP. Indian agriculture contributes 17% of GDP, and Pakistan contributes 20% in the GDP from agriculture side. But the proportion of workforce in India in agriculture is what? More. Now, in India, what? More people are engaged in agriculture when compared with what? China. In Pakistan, about 42% people are working in agriculture. That means out of 100% of population in Pakistan, out of 100% of people in Pakistan, 42% of people are working in what? Agriculture. In China, 18%. And where in India, it is 43%. So just imagine, in which country more people are engaged in agriculture? India. In India, 43% people are engaged in agriculture. In Pakistan, 42% people are engaged in agriculture. In China, 18% people are working in agriculture. And the share of agriculture in Pakistan to GDP is what? 25%. The share of agriculture to GDP in India is 17%. The share of agriculture in China is what? 9%. Now, the sectoral share of output and employment also shows in all three economies, the industry and service sectors have less proportion of workforce but contribute more terms in what? Output. Let us see the sectorial. Which sector contributes how much? Here, agriculture sector contributes more in Indian India. Okay. Now in China, manufacturing and service sectors contribute highest to GDP. In China, again we will compare the three countries. So in China, the manufacturing sector, I mean secondary sector, and service sector, which is called tertiary sector, these two sectors contribute more in GDP. Okay, at 43 and 48% respectively. Okay, I repeat, in China, manufacturing and service sectors contribute the highest to GDP at 43 and 48% respectively. Whereas in India and Pakistan, it is the service sector. In India, it is the service sector, I mean tertiary sector, which contributes highest by more than 50% of GDP. See, in China, manufacturing sector contributes 43%, service sector contributes 48%. I repeat, in China, 43% is the contribution from secondary sector or manufacturing sector to GDP, and from service sector it contributes 48%. Whereas if we compare India and Pakistan, see, in India already we have studied 40, in India 42% is from agriculture. Now 50% of share is coming from service sector to GDP in our country India. Okay, and remaining 50% service sector, 42% primary sector, and remaining left is what? That is from secondary sector. So in India, 50% of contribution is coming from service sector to GDP. Now, in the normal course of development, countries first shift their employment and output from agriculture to manufacturing. Generally, in the beginning of the development of any country, first what change we will see? The shift of population from agriculture to industry, I mean manufacturing. In the normal course of development, countries first shift their employment and output from agriculture to manufacturing and then to service sectors. This is what is happening in China. First they gave more importance to agriculture, then slowly they shifted to manufacturing sector, and thereby they shifted to service sector. This can be clearly seen in China. Okay. The proportion of workforce engaged in manufacturing in India and Pakistan is very low. Okay, I repeat. The proportion of workforce who are engaged in manufacturing sector, I mean secondary sector, is very low in India and Pakistan. For example, in India it is 24%, and in Pakistan it is what? 27% respectively. The contribution of industries to GDP, I mean the contribution of manufacturing sector or industries to GDP is 30% in India. I mean India contributes 30% GDP from manufacturing sector, and in Pakistan it contributes only 21%. So from manufacturing sector or secondary sector, India contributes 30%, and in Pakistan it contributes 21%. Okay, in these countries the shift is taking place directly to service sector. I mean in Pakistan and India, or India and Pakistan, the people from agriculture, they're directly shifting to service sector. Generally in any country in normal development, first people shift from agriculture to industry, then industry to service sector. So this changing, agriculture to industry, industry to service sector, this change you have seen in China slowly. But in India and Pakistan, the shift from agriculture we have directly seen to service sector. Okay. Thus in both India and Pakistan, the service sector is emerging as a major player of development. In India and Pakistan, service sector is the major development when compared with manufacturing. Okay, it contributes more to GDP. Yes, we have seen 50% in India, the service sector contributes, 42% agriculture. Okay, and in manufacturing 30%. Now, it contributes more to GDP and at the same time emerges as a prospective employer. If you look at the proportion of workforce in the 1980s, if you see the workforce distribution in Pakistan was faster. Pakistan was faster in shifting its workforce to service sector. In In 1980s, the proportion of workforce shifted faster from agriculture to service sector. Okay, in 1980s, Pakistan was faster shifting its workforce to service sector than India and China. I mean, when compared with India and China, the proportion of population which shifted from agriculture to service sector is more. In the 1980s, India, China and Pakistan growth rate has declined. I repeat, in 1980s, India, China and Pakistan growth rate has declined in case of service sector. China was able to raise its growth rate during 1980 to 2015, while India and Pakistan stagnated with its service sector growth. I mean, from 1980s up to 1980s, the growth rate of service sector in all the three countries declined. But between 1980s to 2015, the Chinese growth rate in service sector increased, whereas India and Pakistan, the growth rate was stagnant. Okay. Thus, China growth is mainly contributed by manufacturing and service sectors, and India growth rate by service sector. I repeat, thus Chinese growth is mainly contributed by manufacturing, okay, and service sectors, and India's growth by the service sector only. During this period, Pakistan has shown acceleration. We say acceleration means speed. So during this period, Pakistan has shown deceleration in all these three sectors. I mean, between 1980s to 2015, in Pakistan, all the three sectors, I mean agriculture, industry and service sector, all the three sectors, the speed was decreased. So up to here I am stopping here. Only one more topic is there. So two topics are there, that is indicators of human development, and second is development strategies and appraisal. This we will continue in our next period. Till then, take care. Thank you, students. I suggest my students to read this textbook once, because number of objective questions will be asked from this chapter in the board examination. Okay, students? Thank you.